Before we get started, can you please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the alert notification to get our latest content? Hello, it's Brian from Home Painters. I'm absolutely thrilled to bring you our next topic. Now that it's exterior season, we're talking a lot about exterior painting, and we're going to talk about wood siding, the cost of wood siding painting. Okay, and as I said, I do this once a month, so hit the subscribe button, and we answer pretty much all our customers' needs, any of the questions they're asking right now, because like I said, it's exterior season, so pretty much all my questions customers are asking, the majority of them are going towards exterior. So we're going to talk about the costs, and then we're going to talk about the process involved, and then the time, and the factors that affect the costs in painting them. Okay, so the cost first, we're going to start, break it down into three areas. Bungalows first, two-story homes about 1,500 to 22,000 square feet, and then bigger homes that are about 2,500 plus 3,000 square foot homes to paint as well. Okay, so let's talk about bungalows first, and they start in the $2,000 to $5,000 range. And again, it depends on prep, depends on difficulty of job, but prep's the biggest factor there, and especially when you're dealing with a lot of siding, a lot of peeling could be happening, fading, wood damage, and it causes more prep in the end, which of course is more labor. Okay. For a two-story house, actually even three-bedroom homes, which is the average home in Toronto is about 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, the typical two-story home, and that starts in the $3,000 to $7,000 range to paint. Okay. A bigger home, which is like two to three story, and usually has at least 4 to 5 bedrooms involved, starts around 2,500 square feet and could go as high as 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. That ranges from about 5 to 15,000. And again, huge range, but the main reason being is the amount of prep involved, how difficult it is. For example, how hard it is to reach with ladders, and if you need to rent cherry pickers and whatnot, it makes a huge difference on price there. So 5 to 15K is the average to paint wood siding, prep and paint wood siding. Process is quite simple. It's mainly a combination. First, you have to wash it if there's like excessive algae on it or any kind of mildew, or any really, like if it's really grimy, then it's good to wash it. But it's not always needed, because in most cases, Toronto's not that, let's say, water-based in terms of the amount of damages you have and debris on your siding. But the worst case scenario is you have to TSP, like if there's really heavy algae or grime on your siding, then you TSP, basically hand wash it using a scrub brush. Okay. The preparation's pretty simple. You have to scrape it down, you sand it, you caulk it, you prime it. In most cases, you have a paint and primer once, so sometimes you don't even have to prime it. We usually use A100 or Duration for Sherwin-Williams paint, and usually a flat paint or at least a low luster is the highest sheen you go there, just because you don't want it to be flashing too much. You don't want it to be too shiny. That's pretty much more of an old thing. Now people are using more flats and mattes, as well as low luster paint sheens as well, and their siding. And then if you use Benjamin Moore, we usually use the Regal or the Aura, and again, a flat or a low sheen as well works well there. Okay. The time it takes is probably starting around 2 days starting at, and could take as long as a week, is pretty normal. Of course, if it's a bigger home, two-story or three-story home with tons of siding, it's probably looking 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, but it shouldn't take more than 2 weeks maximum. Of course, this is all weather permitting. If it's cold or if it's windy and it's rainy, then or extremely humid, for example, it does slow the crews down in general. Bad weather. Okay, the factors that affect the cost, amount of prep is the biggest one. So if there's a lot of peeling, a lot of scraping, a lot of sanding, a lot of priming, caulking, then it's obviously going to be more work than if it's perfectly painted and it just needs a color refresh. The other thing that makes the difference is time of year. If it's in the heat of the summer, it slows us down usually a little bit, and it costs a little more in some cases. So time of year makes a big difference. And the exterior season in Toronto is maximum 6 to 7 months, sometimes 8, but usually six to 7 months is the norm. So pretty much April to the end of September is the typical exterior season in Toronto. So you have to get it in that time period. The other thing is the size of the job. If you're painting just like a part of the siding, wood siding, then obviously it's going to be a lot more than if you paint the whole wood siding and some windows and doors involved, just because the per unit cost goes up, because there's usually always a terms of a service charge or amount setup charge just to make sure you get the job started and set up properly. So there's always it's always better to do more than less, is my point. The other thing that makes a huge difference is the difficulty. For example, if the siding is really high and it's 3 stories and it requires cherry pickers, special ladders, and tie-offs, that really makes a huge difference and slows you down. So obviously the difficulty of the job makes a huge difference. Heights and amount of prep is the 2 most obvious factors. And the final thing that makes the difference on the amount of payment is the check or e-transfer is always going to be cheaper than credit card. The majority of companies don't offer credit card, but if they do, there's usually a fee involved, 2 to 4%, and sometimes the company will pass that expense along to the homeowner. In our case, we don't do that because we do a lot of volume, but yeah, it depends on the size of the company. Every company is different. Hopefully that was helpful in giving you an idea on the cost, process, as well as the time involved and the factors involved, the cost. As I said, once a month I do this, and I love doing it because it love helping my homeowners. Pretty much I answer any of the questions you ask. If you like what you hear, just feel free to give the thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel, and we'll get our updates regularly, and we'd love to hear from you. So you can call us directly at 416-494-9095 or email us directly at sales@homepainterstoronto, and we'd love to hear from you. Hopefully this is helpful, and have